to be speaking to all of you to introduce our topic for this evening. My name is Sean, and I am a program officer for the International Telecommunication Union. And tonight I'll be sharing some insights that we have, some knowledge that we have with regards to ICT for girls and women empowerment. So before I begin, I think just wanted to inform all of you in the event that if you have any questions or any comments, please don't hesitate to let me know. I'll try my best to accommodate those questions immediately, if time and again. So let us begin by first introducing to you my what we do. So first, the organization that I work with is called the International Telecommunication Union. We are the ICT specialized agency for the United Nations. And our role is, our commitment is to help connect the world and to help bridge the digital divide. For those who are not familiar with the work that we do, we are very much involved in telecommunication. A lot of the telecommunication services that you see, the application that you see, it has a lot to do with the work that has been done by some of our sectors. So the three sectors that are key in delivering these services to you is, the first one is the IT radio communication sector. The radio
Sean, sorry. Sean, would you like to share the screen?
Oh, have I not? I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that it has not been shared.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Oop.
That's okay. So you can have a quick revision again. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks for reminding me. Okay, apologies for that, everyone. So again, that was the first slide. We didn't go very far. So international telecommunication. The first one is the radio communication sector. So as you know, your cell phone operates through the use of spectrum. It connects through the use of spectrum. The signal that is sent to your phone, it gets sent either to the telephone antenna and also via satellite, and then it gets transferred to the recipient on the other end, the sender and the receiver, and all that is has to be coordinated well, and has to be done in consensus or agreement with not just one country but many other countries, or else you will hear a lot of interference, meaning that if you use your phone, if it's not well coordinated, you might be able to either capture someone else's phone call and so forth, or the TV that you watch may sometimes be interrupted because of the signals that are not well coordinated, and then it interferes with each other. So that is the role of the ITU, radio communication sector in the ITU. And then the other sector is the standardization sector, where they help organize global standards. So they gather experts from around the world, from countries, from private sectors, and to discuss on technologies that you currently use, mobile phones, satellite communication from your walkie-talkie, television broadcast, the radio that ship people that are in the ship using to communicate with others. They do this so that for an example, the telephone that you use in Thailand would be able to be used in, for an example, in Malaysia or in the UK. And without standardization, it'd be very difficult for companies to build the mobile phones. They have to build mobile phones that are different for Thailand, different for UK, and it makes it very expensive. So ultimately is to make your experience more easy, so that when you travel to places, you're able to use those phones seamlessly from one country to another, and at the same time directly affecting the affordability of all the equipments that you use. Finally is the ITU development sector, the sector that I work with. We are very much involved in trying to connect the unconnected. Those who are not, there are still many people who don't have access to telecommunication services, to the internet, and my role is, and my colleague's role is to bring connectivity through either initiatives or by, excuse me, supporting governments to help them establish right policies and the right infrastructure, right technology, so that more people can be connected in a more efficient as well as affordable way. So that is just a brief introduction of what my organization does. And as I mentioned, we are an organization with a very large member base, 193 member states or countries or governments, as we can call it. In Thailand, it's the Ministry of Digital Economy and Society, and we also work with the National Broadcasting and Telecommunication Commission, the regulator, and also private sectors like all the telecommunication service providers. And we also have academia members who are also part of our members, where they contribute towards the work of standardization that I mentioned earlier. In Thailand, we have our regional office in Bangkok, and we are responsible for the countries within Asia Pacific. In Jakarta, we have an area office which looks into countries in ASEAN, except for Thailand, because Thailand is under the responsibility of the Bangkok office. And in 2021, we are expecting to open a new office, which is going to be located in New Delhi. And they are going to be perhaps looking in countries in South Asia. And these are all the other countries or regional office that we have. Our main headquarters is located in Geneva, where a lot of other UN agencies are also located. So quickly, these are the countries that we look into in the Asia Pacific region. It's a very big region. It starts from Afghanistan, the furthest from Iran, and all the way to the Pacific Island countries, which consists of Samoa, Fiji, and so forth. So in total, 38 member countries. We have 74 sector members or the private sector, and also 47 academias around Asia Pacific. So this graph here, this chart here may look complicated, but this is our sort of map or our guide when it comes to how ITU does its work in the world as well as in Asia Pacific. If you are aware, whatever work that the UN does ultimately serves the purpose of achieving the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, or the SDG, as they are commonly known. The SDG, as you're aware, there are 17 goals that we have to achieve, mainly number one, to address issue of poverty, hunger, health, education, gender equality, water, climate change, energy, work or labor, industry, inequalities, and so forth. All these goals require our support. ICT as an enabler to all achievement, to us achieving the sustainable development goal. Communication is key. Technology is key to support all this efforts. Specifically in Asia Pacific, we are guided by our countries that we serve. And they come together every 4 years to help us set strategic sort of areas where we should focus on. And these are the 5 what we call regional priorities. These regional priorities are agreed upon amongst the 38 countries that I highlighted earlier, and they give us the mandate to deliver work according to what they have requested. So the first regional priority or regional initiative that we work is on addressing the special needs of countries from least developing countries, the small island developing states, and also landlocked developing countries. And then there's also regional initiative on digital economy, as well as developing or creating or establishing a more more inclusive digital society. There is the digital infrastructure. When we speak of infrastructure, we're talking about the telecommunication tower that you sometimes see next to the highway or up on the hill, or even satellites as well. Those are, and even your mobile phones, your computers, those are all form of digital infrastructure. And then there's also policy and regulation, which handles, for an example, targets for the country, their blueprint, what is their target, and on broadband, for an example. Those are the things that we also help government in that respect. And finally, is on security and resilience, which is making sure for a region that is that suffers sometimes from natural disasters, we have to make sure the infrastructure remains available for them, and security goes not just about cyber attacks, but also on individual use, awareness on people using, understanding how is it safe to use the internet, because internet can serve good for, bring good to the people, but it can also serve as a place for bad actors or people who have very bad intention, use it as a platform to serve their purposes. So for us, the ITU, under the development sector, there are 10 topics that we look into. I'm not going to run into those topics specifically or in detail. For tonight, for ICT on girls and women empowerment, we'll be focusing on the two areas, which is the capacity building as well as digital inclusion. So when I speak about digital inclusion and how it relates to girls as well as girls and women empowerment, is that first we have to understand that it's important to have people connected to the internet. It's important to have people to be connected, because those who have access to ICT, they are usually empowered. They are empowered in a sense that they are the ones that have access to information. They have, under circumstances like we are in now during the pandemic, they get access to online education. They can get access to health services, and they are also able to get access to, for an example, life-saving warnings from mobile phone messages that you get. At the same time, you also see that during this pandemic, trends and lifestyle has changed. You see more people buying goods using online services. They pay using their mobile phones, and then they also, through people who have access to ICT, they can get in touch with their loved ones, their family members who live very far away. There are many countries that experience lockdown. They're not able to be with their family for months, and with ICT, they're able to be in touch with them, stay connected. And we also see trends where more people are working at home, and to maintain level of productivity, work can continue. So these are some of the reasons why we need to have people connected. That's why we have to make it a mission for us to connect those who are still not connected. And in total, if you look at the statistics, there are still 3.9 billion in the world that still don't have connectivity. And in Asia Pacific, we are speaking about 2 billion of the world's population. There are still over 2 billion of the world's population that is still not connected. But when we speak about digital inclusion as well, those who are not connected, there are subcategories. For an example, if we want to address, we need to see the issue of gender. By addressing issue of gender, we also address issue of connectivity. The world statistics shows that women are 10% less than men when it comes to having connectivity. In Asia, it's about 41.3% of females who are connected. And it also impacts youth in that sense. So by addressing this issue directly, it also helps us to include more people in ICT. It helps people to get, it also helps people to be connected in that sense. So one thing that I think it's important that we highlight is that if we don't address this issue, we don't have more women, we have more people, you will see inequalities we will be wider, especially when it comes to women in their participation to participate in the digital economy, and that is why we need to I guess we need to emphasize on this issue rather than just speak about digital inclusion and people at large that don't have connectivity. By doing this, we to do this, we try and give them access to the internet. But to give access, one of the things that you have to be aware is, besides issues like geographical, where some countries are island, they're mountainous, they are made of a lot of small islands, which makes infrastructure very difficult to establish. But at the same time, there are also issues like cultural norms. There are cultural and social norms, which sometimes discourage women from using ICT. So for us, we continue, but we have several initiatives, as you can see: Girls in ICT Day, International Girls in ICT Day, which is celebrated every third Thursday of April every year. We also have Equals, which is focused on addressing, reversing the increase of gender digital divide. And also we have initiatives like Giga Project, where we work closely with UNICEF to bring more schools, for every schools to have internet, so that young person can have access to information and opportunity, as well as choice when it comes to selecting ICT as a career in the future, or even just using ICT to support their ambition. So just more statistics on women. Digital equality is an issue, and if we, the reason why that we need to have more women why we need to have more women to use ICT is that in companies are actively looking to attract and promote women in their workplace, because the diversity is an important aspect of business, and now we see a lot of we see lack of young women participating in ICT, and a lot of that based on statistics as well, we see a lot of companies are ICT or tech companies are male dominated, especially in senior levels. And women at the moment, many of them, they are occupying the low level as well as low skilled jobs. So the initiative that we introduce is to encourage women to participate in STEM's program, so that we could also encourage them to be leaders in tech industries, and also and this is done not just by teaching them leadership skills, but also improving their digital skills. We're speaking about not just basic in terms of use of ICT devices, but also to the point where they are able to use it for businesses, and even for those who want to who wants to explore ICT in as a career, especially when it comes to new technologies like artificial intelligence, cloud, big data. Those are areas that we wish to promote. And again, initiatives like Girls in ICT Day also helps address issues when it comes to youth, who are predominantly, even in 2012, 45% of those under 25 are internet users. And now we are familiar with the name of with the terms of digital natives, so for an example, where 30% of the world youth are already very familiar with the use of ICT. So it's important that it helps create job opportunities when we engage when youth have the right skills to satisfy the future job market, especially when it comes to ICT. And the way we do this is that we actively engage them through our programs. Girls in ICT Day is one of them, and there are also digital skills programs that we organize, hackathons where we facilitate programs where they develop apps, and also we have a lot of conferences where we bring a lot of young individuals to contribute in the development of ICT. And so just to emphasize on Girls in ICT Day, on my part, I would like to encourage everyone to promote this to your sisters, to your mothers, or to your siblings. It happens every year on the third Thursday in April. This year, for the first time, we are organizing it virtually as a result of the pandemic. In Asia Pacific, we have 5 organizers that have participated in our program, which was a 24-hour program. And what was interesting is that it runs around the clock. And this is a program that I think would help develop awareness on the importance of ICT of use amongst women as a result of the digital inclusion initiative that I have explained earlier. So in Thailand itself, we have been working with local partners as well as other UN agencies to celebrate the Girls in ICT Day since the first time that we have organized it in 2017. 400 girls have been trained, 8 trainings have been held, and the number of partners that have joined this movement has been continuously growing. We worked with Dr. Kamarat and CCDKM, and also the government of Thailand, which is through the Ministry of Digital Economy and Society. And the objective is the same as it is everywhere, which is to help enhance employment opportunities, in particular for girls and young women in Thailand, so that they can have digital skills that are employable, that can make them employable and relevant to the local job market. So on that note, I just want to take this opportunity to invite you to come and join us to celebrate this year's Girls in ICT Day, which is in Thailand, which is going to be held tomorrow virtually, and it's going to be a month-long program, which is going to be held from the 17th of August till 17th of September. And this program is going to help you promote the STEM education as mentioned. We are also introducing key sectors like farming, the artificial intelligence, which is a program that is going to introduce you the basic of artificial intelligence, give you a quick overview, introductory knowledge of what artificial intelligence is about, and also on cybersecurity, how to be safe online. Again, on the technical aspect, as well as just understanding how what are the different threats that can happen when you conduct yourself online. So tomorrow we will have our first program, which is the leadership program that is going to be organized by the Asia Pacific Telecommunity, and that is going to be held concurrently with the plenary as well as the launching of the Girls in ICT Day Thailand. It will happen tomorrow at 2 p.m. until 4 p.m. Bangkok time. So if you have your phone, you are more welcome. You are more than welcome to join us tomorrow. You can scan the QR code that you can see in front of you. The platform that is going to be used tomorrow for the launching ceremony is going to be WebEx. It is a Cisco. It is a Cisco platform. For those who are not familiar with the e-conferencing, this would be a good opportunity to explore Cisco's WebEx platform. We will have representative from many UN agencies that are going to be attending tomorrow to speak about their commitment towards developing women, empowering women through their respective sort of work that they do. We have representative from UNESCAP, the economic and social. We have UNESCO on economic science and culture. We have FAO on agriculture, and also Cisco and DTEC. Leadership program will happen at 2:50 tomorrow. It's going to be represented by women in leadership in Thailand, particularly the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Digital and Economy Society. So I encourage you to come and join us tomorrow to listen to what some of the representatives have to say. As I mentioned, you can register. This program is going to be held for 4 weeks, and this is just a quick, I guess, overview of how the program is going to look like for you for the course of 1 month. And then finally, before I conclude, I just want to emphasize that all this that we are doing is, again, to accelerate digital transformation in countries. Ultimately, is to help us achieve the goals that has been set by countries, which is the 17 goals on sustainable development. And only through ICT, I think, that we are able to accelerate this this effort, which is 10 years from now. And finally, before I end, I just want to, if you want to know more about ITU and the work that we do, and also on Girls and ICT Day, feel free to add us on social media, and we regularly share new updates on the works that we do within the region. So on that note, I want to take this opportunity again to thank Dr. Kamarat and her team as well for inviting us today, Kundararat as well. I'm happy to take on any questions if there are any. Again, thank you so much for your time. I hand the floor back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sean. That is very impressive presentation. So I think that by this chance, people will recognize that what's the important roles of ITU to empowering or to create the standard of ICT for the global citizen, not just only the standard infrastructure that ITU provide for the global citizen, is also the kinds of digital literacy, digital equality, kind of that. So the you mentioned about the global activity of Girls ICT Day. You would say that is a celebration globally. So Thailand is very honored to join this event. Thank you so much to let Thailand to join this event. So it's very continuous for about half a decade already, since 2017 up to now. And then since the years of 2017, all the girls keep asking, when is Girls ICT Day coming again this year? So they remember April, right? And then finally this year is very super special because it's because of the pandemic. So they can make the real exercise to use ICT as a tool to connecting, to creating, or to learning, kind of that. So that is wonderful and very grateful to ITU, kind of that digital equality. And then I would like to say that Thai people is very proud to join this program every year because the outcome of the program every year we have a very strong impact, like you mentioned. And then beside from that, we also have some kind of the tangible impact in kinds of many of the girls come back with the more confidence to run their smart farming. Many of the girls can start the ideas of the smart entrepreneurship, how to use ICT to start up the farm business. And then for tomorrow that you mentioned about the launching of the Girls ICT Day in Thailand and Asia Pacific, we have the girls representative, Thai girls representative from Thailand. That is, she used to join the Girls ICT Day event training, and then like now she become to be the startup entrepreneur, kind of that for the green business. So that would be very proud to invite all the audience in this event to join tomorrow launching. That is 2 p.m. right? 2 p.m. tomorrow by the facilitation of the WebEx of the Cisco company. So we will have the launching or the what you call online launching by the or the policy of the UN agency, like you mentioned, like ITU yourself, and then NBTC กสทชประเทศไทย and then MDES, that is กระทรวง ICT, and then UNESCO, APT, Asia Pacific Telecom Community, and then UNESCO, UNICEF, UNSCAP, APC, ICT, and also DTAC, and also the many of them. So that will be the opportunity for all the policy globally, regionally, and nationally grouped together. Just only one commitment. Girls is the center. Girl is the commitment. That's ITU and all the UN agency will try to use ICT and then let them access and make benefit from ICT. So join us for tomorrow and another 1 month event that is very exciting. So I think that the Pami can share the banner if she can, the banner of the 4 track. First one is we want the girls to inspire and confident to be leaders. Girls can be leaders. Girls today can be the leaders for a coming future, kind of that. So we have a very smart representative of the smart leader girls and young women that to talk with you. That is a leadership program for tomorrow, 2 p.m. And then it will run from the opening to the end about 2 to 4 p.m. So that is very value. The girls from all over Thailand, from the north, Nan, Chiang Rai, up to the south, Songkhla, up to the northeast, Sakonnakhon, and Bangkok. All the girls from all over the country will join it, and also including with all the handicapped girls from Mahathai network also. Many of all the girls from all sector will join, and all the girls NGO in Chiang Mai who run the smart farm. Thank you, Pami, to let us see. This is all the honor, the policy that make it happen. We do salute and gratitude for this agency. Tomorrow we start 2 p.m. up to 4 Bangkok time, so the global girls can have a look at this event, and then the global girls can also interact with the Thai girls by the Facebook hub, as well as the learning platform that we'll share you later on. So join us for tomorrow. This is the first activity. And then, like Sean saying that another 3 track. Pami, can you show us? One among the top is can be Actually, I assume that the girls will love a smart farm, but I understood the popular top one is AI. AI. Like so that is a top that is offer by the AI is by UNESCO, right? So this one, yeah, AI. This one is cyber security is also another top e-training that is offered to the girls. So any of you that would like to join, you're welcome to join, right? We are very proud to welcome you all. So it will be like you see the schedule from, and then AI, artificial intelligence by UNESCO, is all free. That's all the UN partner has offered for free, right? And then the last one is smart farm, right? Smart farm. Smart farm is a very collaboration from MDES, MBTC, FAO, ITU, UNSCAP, APC, ICT, DTAC, and CCDKM to make it happen. So this is very interesting also. So on the fourth track, you are all welcome to join us and celebrate our Girls ICT Day with another country. Sean, you may share with us about the others activity from others country of how they celebrate the Girls ICT Day. Yeah, that might be very exciting to know what they are doing. Yes, please.
Sure, sure. Thank you, Dr. Kamurat, for sharing that information. I think with everyone. Again, yeah, I encourage everyone to take part. With regards to the celebration that has been happening around the world this year, it's different than everybody than anywhere. I mean, it's different than how it has been celebrated in previous years, especially when it comes to the way it has been celebrated, because primarily it's been done online. So this year we're speaking about there has been a lot of online dialogues. In total, I think there were 25 countries, Dr. Kamarat, that I think that took part in the 24-hour celebration, and there are 36 events. And during those events, you saw a lot of again program that is almost similar to the ones that we are organizing in Thailand. Video conferencing using different platforms. So tomorrow is using Cisco WebEx, and other countries have used Zoom and also Microsoft Teams. Many, and again similar formats in the sense a lot of engagement through online dialogue with representatives from government, NGO, and academia. And
Yeah.
also, I think programs like hackathon as well. I think there are some countries that have organized online version of the hackathons as well. So I think those are some
Yeah.
of the programs that has been taking part around the world.
Yeah. I think that next year we should have the hackathon because the girls asking about that, the digital hackathon, no? Next year.
Yes.
Yes. For tonight we have also Ruri with us. Ruri, would you like to share something with us? Ruri is our friend
Yes,
from ITU, Jakarta, Indonesia.
yes, thank you very much, Dr. Kamarat. And thank you, Sean, for your very inspirative presentation and very brief to explain about the gender digital issues, especially in Asia Pacific. And yeah, Dr. Kamarat and everyone, I'd like to might be share you next week, not far from this topic. It's all about growth and ICT, and maybe share a little bit about equals initiatives in Asia Pacific. I think that's all from me.
Yep. Great. Yep, we're looking for that. Thank you. So tomorrow
Thank
you
you.
join us on the fourth track, nah? Start from the leadership. Okay. Ajahn Dalalat and all the participants, please. Any feedback from the Facebook also? You are welcome to give a talk with Sean. คุณวราคุณโคนี่คุณสุชัด
Yes.
Um, hi, hi, Sean. Thank you so much for your presentation. It's very interesting. I have just a very short question, and maybe if you can explain a little bit more, it would be great. You mentioned that, like, at the mission of the ITU, you do like encourage the access, skills, and also the leadership. I just would like to know, like, within ASEAN countries, in terms of when you talking about like the capacity building and provide the trainings. Is there any some, how can I say, the common training needs among ASEAN countries? Like we require it in very like all every countries, or because I feel like because some country they're quite advanced, for example Singapore, they may need different sets of capacity building when Myanmar might need another set of the training needs. And yeah, and but in terms of like the common training needs that you found within ASEAN country, is there any? If you can share that with us, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. That's a good question. So it's true. In our effort to bridge the digital divide, we have to take into account the different sort of level of, I guess, digital competency or digital literacy in different countries. So, an example, like you mentioned, Singapore, they're very advanced. So they're in terms of the digital skills requirement is very different for countries. For an example, the least developing countries. So, in terms of capacity development, do we have several programs that we organize? For an example, under the Center of Excellence, we have institutions. I think in total six sort of technology or ICT institutes within Asia Pacific, which specializes on different priority areas, and they help us by developing programs that are that would serve different subjects and for different needs in different countries. So, for an example, there are fundamental infrastructure topics. For an example, broadband, and then there are also cybersecurity, Internet of Things, when we talk about conformance and interoperability, what that is that, for an example, your phone to be interoperable from one country to another. So, and then also issue of spectrum, how I mentioned at the very beginning. Some countries are still working on how to coordinate their spectrum properly. We are talking about all these big words, 3G, 4G. Some countries are still working on the 3G. How do they plan for 4Gs? So we have the Center of Excellence, which, if you look into ITU, you could get more information on it, where it helps to address the training needs of all these different subjects within telecommunication, but those are more tailored for those who are in the ICT sector. How about those who are basic? People like those who are just using it for for daily use, for an example. So we have Digital Transformation Center, which we have launched in 2019, where there are some countries that have digital transformation center established in their country. And what we do is we partner with entities like Cisco, which they develop from different levels of digital skills training, from basic to up to intermediate. So basic skills on basic use, understanding what computer, how it's been used, and mobile phone. So those are sort of initiatives that are tailored for countries that are still like you mentioned, that have different needs, very basic needs in terms of understanding digital skills. Countries like Singapore, they would probably, when it comes to trainings that they would need, they could either come directly on a direct assistance. They don't normally need assistance, but they could help. We could help them organize on getting experts to talk about very advanced level sort of trainings that they may require. So I mean, those are and then sorry, and one more is the ITU Academy, our online training platform, which again, all the COE trainings that I mentioned earlier, they are all available on the ITU Academy. So those are the different ways that we help develop capacity, at least within this region. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, very much. Thank you so much. Very good.
Yes. How about our student? Do you have any discussion?
Yes, thank you, Professor Monrat. Thank you, instructor. My name is Parawong Saliya. I am the student of this course. This is a good opportunity for me to join with your briefing. So I would like to ask you, for the people who does not know the English language, someone will be nervous to use the internet or join with English program. How to convince or help them to learn the skill that you mentioned earlier? And do you think language barricade is a problem for connected? Thank you.
Thank you, Kunwara, for that question. That is a very relevant question, and it is an ongoing sort of effort that we are putting in. And I think the word that we are using when it comes to language, to addressing issue of language, is on ICT accessibility. ICT accessibility, I think, comprises of not just language, but also for those who are the disabled community, for an example, sign language and so forth. So technology, it's interesting during this pandemic is when we start seeing the need for the need to have more language being sort of accommodated. And because there's a silver lining. There is something good that came out of this pandemic, is that it has forced us to develop to accelerate this effort. Definitely, besides English, now you are able to see a lot of programs, especially Microsoft Teams as well, that is able to help support other languages. But in terms of catering every single languages around the world, that I think would definitely take some time. But it's definitely something that it's being worked on, and I think it has made quite a significant headway. Has come. We have seen quite an improvement, at least in that sense. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Any feedback from the Facebook? Ajahn Pami.
In the Facebook is not.
Great. Okay, so I think Ajahn Dalanat, you might have some things, or if none, I will close the session.
Sure. How about Suchat and Corny? Do you want to have any questions? Or just one more thing. Like, would you mind to share your presentation with us, and also like your contact in case like our students have more questions later, and then they can contact you for more information if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah. I can share that with Dr. Kamarat, maybe via email, and then and also I'll include my contact detail if there's any information you need.
That's very good. That's very good. I will try to like attend the session of this girls day because it's a 1 month long, and the topics are very interesting.
Before we let Sean away from us, I really want the women voice from Connie. Connie, are you there?
Yes.
because ICT Days, better talk to Sean.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, thank you for your presentation today. I just want to ask you just one question. Is there any projects for women in remote areas as well as local community to access ICT and make them realize to using the ICT?
Sure. Yes, I think there are definitely, for an example, projects that we are embarking with local partners, for an example, to connect more schools with internet. And in that project, it's not just about giving physical infrastructure, but I think it's also a project that involves developing skills of teachers, for an example, to be able to teach remotely, to do remote teaching effectively and efficiently. This is something I'm not too sure whether it is ready to be shared in public, but it's under the Giga banner that we have spoken about. It's not directly under Giga, but it's similar to the Giga project that I mentioned, which I will share with you the slide later on. Because as you mentioned, it's not just about giving ICT connectivity, but also how to use it meaningfully, or to use it effectively for teaching and so forth. So we do have a project, but Girls in ICT Day is definitely one of the programs that we do in Thailand. And it's been happening since 2017, and we have a growing partner. Hopefully, like Dr. Kamarat mentioned, it can evolve into something even better, from hackathon to many others. So that's something to look forward to every year, isn't it, Dr. Kamarat?
Yeah. So tomorrow, Connie, you join the opening, and leadership program. Connie is a nurse. She's working as a nurse, and she has a twin. Yeah. How many kids you have, Sean?
I have 3 little girls, so that's why I'm very passionate about having girls in ICT.
Good. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Richard, you would like to say something before we say thanks to John?
I would like to ask one question. I would like to know that how should we teach women to be empowered in a context where cultural roles and norms dictate a lack of societal value for women?
So yeah, when it comes to, those are some of the issue. I guess issues that we are trying to address. I think being an international organization, it's the extent that we go in terms of how to help have more women to be connected is number one issues of, for an example, accessibility. So one example that I could share with you in some countries is that where there are countries where women are not very comfortable being in the same room with men. One example. So what they do is they have separate rooms, for an example, in learning centers, so that women can come in comfortably. So those are one example, but no, there is no one size fit all. But it's definitely an awareness that we highlight to governments that it's important to have more women, but the cultural sensitivity and social norm is best, I guess, to be handled by the government, because understanding their society, those values are still important. But we try not allow social norms to stop women from having the access, because it's important, especially for the future when it comes to participating in digital economy and so forth, and also the ambition in general to be part of the technology industry and tech sector as well. I hope that answers your question. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Yep. So I think that by tonight, right now is about 9:30 in Bangkok time, and it's about 10:30 in Malaysia time. So And tomorrow you must have a big job of opening days of Girls ICT Days for tomorrow. So on behalf of our program of International Program of Arts and Communication, we are very gratitude and honored to thanks you a lot, Sean and Ruri. Ruri, Sean is from Malaysia, ITU Malaysia, and Ruri from ITU Indonesia. And then all the audience too. And then if you miss Sean and Ruri will come and see us next Sunday. But you will see Sean and Ruri all the months long, right? From 17 August to the 17th September. And on the 17th September, Sean might be back to meet us to tell some story about how the success of the Girls ICT Days, kind of that. It depends, right? If you feel fun, John, please join us with your 3 little girls also.
You can hear them in the background.
Yeah. So on behalf of us, so we say thanks to you, and then we meet you again virtually tomorrow. We all wish you a very successful for Girls ICT Day kick off tomorrow. Thank you so much. Terima kasih.
Kokung Krab.
ขอบคุณค่ะ
Thank you, Sean.
Rudy,
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you so
Bye
much.
bye. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so we stop the session and then we come back into the class. Okay, Ajahn Dalalat, what's up for tonight, please?
Okay. I think that's good. And next week we will have Rolly, but tonight, because as I just like send you a short message in the morning, but sorry for a very short notice, because I think we don't really have time to discuss all those the videos or assignments that we have. There were two sessions that I covered before. One is about the advocacy. The other one is about like the human rights and communication here in ASEAN. So I'm just wondering whether you have any questions at all. I mean, 3 of you, and if so, like I can provide more clarification. And maybe I check that first for now, so then I know what to move on. Okay, basically, I can wrap it up briefly here in terms of like the advocacy in the presentation. It's been quite a lot, but you just looking at this way. Like if you have the case, for example, like the current one, when we have like the youngster university student, or now even like a high school student coming up on the street and try to speak up their mind. And if you look at that in terms of the advocacy or human rights pattern or the process, we will see that when people start the advocacy because they want something and they want to send out their message in order to take some actions, and they will have very clear target audience who they would like to talk to, right? Like if we see that in the beginning, maybe the group of people would be very small, but then in the society, when there are more people think the same thing, that we want some kind of like a change to be happen, and we agree with that person or the group of those people, there will be more people coming and join, and then we will see like a quite a mass or public demonstration or call for change. And this is to show this case is just to give you like some pictures which can explain everything that I explained before in the presentation or in the video. I think to give you example like this would help you understand it better. I'm not sure whether you have any question or any comments.
Excuse me, I would like to ask you for a plan to that's in your last presentations on the module 6 lesson 6.2 particles applications. You have eight topic to finding a problem like a eight topic like, and finally use your briefing like have to talk finish in 3 minutes. How to be finished in 3 minutes if we have to follow the eight topic that you brief me.
Can you say again?
In the module
Okay,
6 lesson
to find the
6.2.
problem, right? Okay.
Yeah, finding a problem, you have three X components to give
Okay.
X components, and I read it thoroughly, and I think it is very hard to finish it in 3 minutes. So you have a tricks or you have many give me for some idea.
Sure. Maybe I can repeat these 8 steps to our classmates as well, so then they know what we are talking about. Like what Kunvara mentioned is about like the plan to help. What is the step to help plan? This our advocacy, right? The first one is to define the definition, and the second one, assemble some evidence, construct the alternatives, selected the criteria, project outcomes, so take a looking at it, and then confront the trade-off, what we have to trade off, like to lose or gain, and then make the decision and tell the story. The thing is that tell the story is really at the end, and that 3 minutes is explain the tell the story, because before you start advocate for something, you have to look at the context first, right? Why you want to do this, and then you have to find some like a supporting evidence. How can I give like the very sample that very near you? You have kids, right?
Yeah.
You have kids, and you want the school to change maybe some lunch that you find that some of the lunch that the school provide is not really healthy for the kids. So, and you want it to change to something that is organic, so your kid will have a better health, and it's good for the kids and for the environment as well. So when you want to advocate for that, to have the school change the menu of the lunch meal for the kids in the school. The way you start your process is that you look at the context. What's going on? You see the school provide the lunch to the kids, and you have some supporting evidence. For example, like a one meal, it's just the instant noodles that they provided, they give to your kids. You collect those information, and then you would think about why the school has to do that. Is it because they don't have enough budget for the lunch to the kids, or they just lazy, or there are some other like a big noodles company give them this noodle to give to the kids, all those things. And if you don't want them to give the noodles to the kids, what would be the alternative that you can propose? Because we cannot just, okay, the noodle is not good and then we don't give lunch to the kids. No, we can't do that. They still have to eat, right? And then you propose, maybe near school there are like organic farmers that they can provide some organic vegetable or eggs or whatever to the school, and the chef at the school can prepare lunch for the kids. This is the alternative. And in terms of the price, it may not be much difference. So you also like look for the alternative for the school as well, instead of just not just saying that the school you are doing this is not good, so you just are to be blamed, but you offer the alternative. This is the way to go. And after that, when everybody agree with you, right? I mean, you may need to convince other parents as well that this is a good thing to do, and then because you need their support in order to advocate the school, the principal, to take your options and then implemented it. right? But the whole thing, the question is, when you want to convince someone, or even the parents or the principal, what would you do if you have only 3 minutes to talk to them? So you have to convince them. You have to try to bring everything, right, to support your idea that because of this is going on and it's not good for the health of our children. That's why we need the school to change the diet or the menu for lunch, blah, blah, blah. So that's why I brought the last one is just like at the TED Talk that she talked about the Rohingya case, but she has only 3 minutes. How can she convince people who doesn't have any background about the Rohingya case at all to follow her and also to support her idea that we need to look into this issue and try to find the way to solve the problems? So this is how we come up with all this step, and if you look at this case, okay, the school lunch, it may be easier to understand. Yeah. Yeah.
Another question is, so when you confront the opponents persons, when you confront the opponents, how to negotiate or how to compromise with them? If fail to compromise, how to do the new I mean the new solutions, or we have to review our plans again.
Maybe, yeah, maybe or maybe not. It depends on. I'm gonna look at first before I talk to anyone or the person that I want to convince them or him or her. Who is that person? Whether it's gonna be soldier or teacher, because they are totally different, right? We have to know our audience. What are their background? What would be their belief or their standing point? Because the reason I'm saying this, because the more you know the person who's going to talk to, then it's easier for you to convince them. For example, if we say that we target Dr. Kamonrat, we want her to finish the class sooner instead of midnight every Sunday, for example. But so we're gonna go and talk to her. We know, what do we know about Dr. Kamonrat? She's very kind. She's open, right? And of course, she knows a lot. And because we know that she's like that, she wants to contribute everything, good things to the student. We know that she's open. She's open-minded. So for someone like this, we can speak to her frankly, right? But for someone, they may not, no matter what you say, they won't listen to you. If that's the case, you have to look further. Who are their peers? Who are the ones that they are listening to? You may have to go a little bit indirect to pass your messages to those persons to make it coming back to the person who is your target. For example, like many NGOs, they cannot speak directly or don't have chance to meet the Prime Minister face to face. The way they do, they use the mass media. They communicate or they send their messages to the mass media. Let the mass media put pressure to the government until the government has to look at the issue that they want the government to take a look and solve the problem or take any actions. That's an example. Yeah.
So, short question, please. Last question is a short question. You said in the before the end of the briefing, you says write 5-page advocacy documents in the final exercise. Is it real?
Sorry. Say again.
You said in before end of the presentations, you said write 5-page advocacy documents in final exercise. Is that real?
No, I don't think that is valid anymore because I will not be the one who is designed in terms of exam. I think that's going to be Dr. Kamonrat, so she will give you more information about the exam. You get scared. Ajahn Kamonrat, maybe you can add to that in terms of the exam for the
Actually,
student.
that is just your exercise, right? Yeah, because like you mentioned in your clip that is so many so many types and level of advocacy. So meaning that you can have some example or searching and then see example. And then Ajahn Dalarat, you also very good to mention about the protest like now in Bangkok, kind of that. That is the kinds of in this second subject 02-17702 about public communication, persuasion communication, and then also advocacy communication, kind of that. So this is very good example of group advocacy, kind of that. Chandalalat, can you clarify a little bit about the protesting now? Relevant to protest, relevant to advocacy. Yes.
What my observation is that we have to be a little bit sensitive with this, because I believe, I mean, this is my personal opinion. I believe in the freedom of speech. I believe that the university students, they have the right to speak their mind, and the way that they come out. I think at some point university have to give them support, not just like a mark that these are not good students, things like that. But at the same time, there are different political parties or groups who want to use this kind of happening or events to do something that would lead to that would be useful for them, which is they can distort the pure call of the students. I think we have to really take a look at this, because more and more we will see like it's not just only in Bangkok, but it's become just like a snowball effect. We see things happening in other provinces, and even the high school student coming out to speak their mind. And it's just like you talk to the government that you promise that you won't stay this long, but you don't keep your promise, and you still here. I mean, all those things.
Yeah. It's like if you still remember Dr. Jude last week that he mentioned about the theories of socialization, collectivism, right? It's kind of spiral of silence. People train to follow what the majority of people doing, what kind of that. So that's kind of the reason why we need to study about the information literacy, digital literacy, because before you advocate something or persuade something, you need to have enough information, kind of. So that's the happening up. So I think that yes, please.
If I can add a little bit, I think we
Yes.
have to have like a analytical thinking as well, because especially this time when internet is everywhere, people have access to internet, right? Not just the good people, but those who want to like throw in some hate speech or throw in some false information into the online discussion is going on. Even like sometimes we heard that, oh, there's fake news. So we heard a lot of this word this day, like a fake news. So for us as a communicator, we have to be really, when we read something, we have to be able to analyze whether it's true or not. Should we believe that? Is that trustable? Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the reason why we need to study the communication arts and science, like Dr. Chu mentioned last week, because communication process is scientific. Whatever you input and then you process with a fake process or with the tangible process or clear process, so the outcome will be as you aim. That is a scientific. And then for the arts of communication process, how can you use the arts and skill to communicate effectively, kind of that. So by the exam of this for this semester we have two subjects, right? The second subject is more focused on the theories, right? What is the main theories of communication that you learn in this semester? So meaning that one subject you have 3 hours. You have 3 hours. You have 3 hours to take the exam. Exam in one subject we have three questions. Three questions. In one subject you will have three questions. And then in the second subject it will be more on focusing on what is the theory that you learn. That is a second subject. And then the
Communication
first
theory.
subject, pardon?
Communication theory, you mean?
Yes, communication theory that is relevant to ASEAN, kind of that. So that is very flexible and very kinds of general. So you can exercise your idea, but you need to pick up what particular theory that you feel that is fit to the ASEAN context. So you might use that one and then explain. So one subject is will take 3 hours. So meaning that in one subject we have three questions. One question is 1 hour. If you may need to use your time, that's it. And then for the first subject 177 01, the first subject the same, three questions, and then it will be very general. So the final exam is very flexible. It's kind of like what is how important of communication to ASEAN. That's kind of, so you are freely to exercise your creative brain to answer that, because we try to give you all the expert from all dimension, right? So you can see that with the complex society, with the complex region of ASEAN, how can we know each other? How can we coordinate with each other among the member country if we have no how to communication, kind of that. So this is the reason why we have to take up this program. So the only reason for you all is the ultimate goal of this program is to let you be the most access to the dimension of ASEAN in the sake of how can they use communication in any kinds of ASEAN context. For example, like the Girls ICT Days in Indonesia, how the Muslim ladies being empowered by ICT. That is another reason. How about the Samoa, Fiji Island girls in the Fiji Island? They use ICT in what? How can they use that? They have no infrastructure to access to ICT. So the ITU have to shoot the satellite up into the sky and then reflecting down into the island, and then that the Fiji or the Samoa people can get access to the internet, kind of that. So this is the scenario of the first subject that we would like you all to see the scenario of that. So by next week I will give you more and more tangible one. I think that I get some of the collect score from you three. The collecting score, the 70 score. Most of you get a very good score, is more than 50. So meaning that the score is very touching. Touching, even though first subject, first semester. So I think that by next week, I hope so. I'm not so sure. Only one teacher that is still waiting to submit the score of you all, and then we can announce your score by next week. I hope so. Just only one teacher that's we are waiting for. So that's all. Yes. Anything about advocacy topic, Ajahn? Any question from the student?
Maybe I can ask Corny and Sushat whether you have a clear pictures of what it's going to be about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Kamarat, I asked I confused about persuasive and advocacy. It is different how to use in a different situation in the two words.
Okay. Yes. Ajahn will answer you.
Yeah. Can you say again? Can you say again the first word?
Two word is persuasive.
Persuasive. Okay.
And advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
How to use different situation? Yes.
Yeah, and advocacy for me, I feel like it's the whole process that persuasive. You persuade someone, right? To do something is like a part of the advocacy thing. Yeah, because for example, like you can persuade your nurse colleague to go and have lunch with you in the restaurant that you want. But in terms of advocacy, you plan, you prepare, you study the context, and then if there's anything, normally like in the advocacy, you call for actions and change as well, and also have a backup plan, like if it's not happening, similar to just like when Kun Vara mentioned earlier, what if the person that we feel like, well, we cannot change that person, what can we do? So we look for other alternative ways to send the message to the person. Yeah.
And I would like to add a little bit. Kinds of the advocacy is more on kinds of tangible change. It's a holistic process to any kinds of convincing, changing something that is most of the UN agency they are more fun to use this kind of advocacy kind of that. But for the persuade is kind of the activity that you do something to persuade something, kind of that.
Yes.
So advocacy, like Ajahn Dalarat mentioned, is more on holistic, like a campaign. You do some kind of communication system or communication campaign to do something like advocate the nursing Thai nurse to work abroad. How can we advocate this kind of? It's more on kinds of policy also, right, Ajahn Dalarat?
Yes, and
Policy.
also you involve with the public. Even though at some stage in the beginning, within advocacy, of course, you persuade as well. But then advocacy can grow bigger than just persuasion. You know, because the advocacy is sometimes you persuade, you do it in a personal level. But when you do the advocacy, it's not just you and your friend, but it can be a group of people. And it can be the society. Basically, when we see like a advocacy campaign, we are talking about like something that we want to change in the society.
And self advocacy is like understand ourselves. This is right or not?
Say again, your voice is missing.
Self advocacy is understand ourselves is right.
Yeah, and advocate for yourself. I really want this, so I advocate in order to get this. But that is it can be like I see it as the same level as the persuade, because if you see like at the step of advocacy, it will start with a personal level, right? And then it can be grow up into like between a group of people, or even like until the society level. And also within the group, you have like the majority, the minority groups, or the disabled groups that you want to advocate for the betterment of them or better welfare for the minorities, for example.
Thank you very much.
Suchat, anything else?
Suchat is a genius. I don't have any question.
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay,
Nothing.
good. Yeah. I think I mean you quite understand about this. I mean when we see the samples or how like advocacy, how people do the advocacy, when I talk about the samples, the cases, is easy to understand. Yeah. Just
Advocate is to convince. Okay. Persuasive is a kind of you motivate them to do something as you aim for, kind of that. Okay. So I think that you can see the clip, right? Maybe one time might not enough, so you might need more times to see some example that Ajahn Dararat mentioned in the clip, so you can be more clearer, and then we can have some further discussion. Okay, for next week, you will meet Ruri.
Sorry, Ajahn, can I add just a little bit? Like try, please don't just remember the case that I used in the presentation. What I want you to have is just understand the concept of what is advocacy. And then because when you do your exam, you just take that concept and you add the sample that you see it by yourself, or whatever sample that you is very easy for you to use that to explain or to be just like a supporting evidence to explain your idea when you do the exam. Normally it's just like when you write the essay, right? You just pick one topic, one item, and then you elaborate more why you want to talk about this, or why you think this, for example, like this theory is important. Then you just use the evidence or supporting cases to support you to explain your idea. So yeah, because it doesn't work. I mean, we are in the master degree. You don't have to remember like how many steps, because as long as you understand the concept, I think that's the key. Because after that, you can describe everything, every cases that you see. Sorry, John.
Yep. That's good. So meaning that if you can seek some of the case, and then you might consult Chandalalat by next week or next other weeks, that could be okay also. Yeah, because advocate is a lot of work that is done by the UN movement. So some of you might have a dream to work under the UN system. So you need to study more example, then you can synthesize finally by yourself. Okay, so that's it. So by next week, you will see Ruri to see about the scenario of ICT growth globally. So I think that is a very good topic for you all. And then I will talk more about some of the theories for next week, because next week Ajahn Dararat might have some issue, right? So she cannot join us. And then another week, that will be the last week of this semester, is Sunday 30 August. That will be the last week of us. So, and then that will be the last lap up, the Sunday 30. And then Sunday 6, it will be free for you all. No class, no nothing. So you will have to read your book, doing some, prepare yourself for the final examination. And we'll let you take a rest about 2 weeks and then start a new semester again, kind of that. Okay, so don't worry about the next semester. Just see you next Sunday for the more idea about how the global work in about ICT. So that is update information from ITU. That is very valuable for you all. And then last week will be Sunday 30. And then before we end up for tonight, Ajahn Pami, would you please share with us the how to join the Girls ICT Day, so you can also PR to your friend, your network, because by this year our Thai girls from where about 4 or 5 of them can get a chance to talk with the UN stage. She is the entrepreneur who sell the fighting fish เป็นแม่ค้าขายผักกัดนะคะอาจารย์ปามี่ you can use either Thai or English up to you
ไทยค่ะ
ไทยค่ะ
โอเคค่ะ
โอเคเชิญเลยค่ะ
เดี๋ยวปั๊มจะแชร์ Facebook Page ของงาน Girl ICT นะคะไว้ที่หน้าเพจของSCOU นะคะแล้วก็ส่งให้ในไลน์ด้วยนะคะก็คืองานนี้พรุ่งนี้บ่าย 2จะมีพิธีเปิดแล้วก็มีการแชร์เซสชั่นต่างๆนะคะสามารถเข้าไปดูในอีเวนต์ของ Facebook Page ได้นะคะจะมีกำหนดการนะคะตั้งแต่บ่าย 2นะคะจะมีจากหน่วยงานจาก UN มาร่วมแชร์ไอเดียนะคะมีน้องนิต้าที่ประสบความสำเร็จในงานของเขาในด้านการจัดการผักหรืออาหารที่ไม่ใช้แล้วนะคะเป็นขยะนะคะ
พวกเศษอาหารที่เหลือเนาะปามเนาะ
ใช่ค่ะ
เศษอาหารที่เหลือเนี่ยลิต้าเป็นเด็กที่จบชีวการแพทย์ใช่ไหมปาม
ใช่ค่ะชีวการแพทย์ซึ่งเขาคิดว่าสายการแพทย์เนี่ยจะช่วยชีวิตคนได้เขาเลยเรียนสายนั้นมาแต่พอเขาเรียนและทำงานเขาคิดว่ามันไม่ได้เริ่มจากที่การเข้าไปในโรงพยาบาลคนถึงมีชีวิตอยู่แต่เขาคิดว่าการกินอาหารหรือขยะพวกนี้ค่ะสามารถดำรงชีวิตให้คนอยู่ได้รอดปลอดภัยมากกว่าโดยเขาจะใช้แนวคิดนี้มาประยุกต์ใช้ค่ะน้องก็จะพูดประมาณ4 โมงบ่าย 2:30ค่ะ
อาจารย์ปามอาจจะแชร์ลิงก์ของน้องลิต้าให้พวกเราดูนะเพราะว่าเป็นเด็กผู้หญิงที่น่าสนใจเพราะว่าเขาร่วมงาน Girls ICT Day ที่จัดร่วมกับ FAO เมื่อ2 ปีที่แล้วอะค่ะแล้วเขาก็อินสไปร์ไอเดียว่าเขาก็เป็นองค์ประกอบได้นะจากนั้นเขาก็ไม่ทำงานอะไรเลยมาทำสตาร์ทอัพเกี่ยวกับเรื่องการจัดระบบขยะที่เป็นเศษอาหารเหลือจากภัตตาคารจากอะไรแนวคิดนี้เขาก็เลยชาเลนจ์เขาเลยคุยกับ FAO ว่าเศษอาหารที่ฝรั่งกินเหลือที่ FAO มีมหาศาลเนี่ยเขาขอมาจัดการได้ไหม FAO ก็เลยจ้างเป็นคอนซัลท์ให้จัดการเศษอาหารเหลือที่ FAO เลยนะคะเพราะนั้นอันนี้ก็คือถ้าไม่มีการเปิดโอกาสให้เนี่ยเด็กๆก็จะไม่ได้รับโอกาสนะคะเพราะนั้นก็พวกเราก็เห็นว่าถ้ากิจกรรมนี้ดีก็ลองเข้าร่วมมาดูแล้วก็มาใช้ภาษามาอะไรกันก็ว่าไปต่อค่ะน้องปาล์มตอนช่วงบ่าย 2:50 นี่เป็นอะไรคะ
2:50จะเป็นสปีกเกอร์เป็นผู้รู้เกี่ยวกับการใช้เทคโนโลยีค่ะอย่างเช่นท่านปลัดกระทรวงดิจิทัลท่านจบทางด้านวิศวะมาท่านจะมีการแชร์ไอเดียพวกนี้นะคะของเวทีเยาวชนนะคะแล้วก็มีการใช้ STEM เป็น STEM ที่เกี่ยวกับการเรียนการสอนนะคะมาประยุกต์ใช้กับเราอย่างไรแล้วก็จะมีคุณสิรินุชนะคะแล้วก็ลูกสาวที่เคยเลี้ยงปลากัดค่ะซึ่งเป็นปลากัดที่อาจจะเป็นราคาต่ำจากประเทศไทยคราวนี้ท่านส่งออกอย่างไรมีการประยุกต์ใช้ส่วนของปลากัดอย่างไรให้ได้ใช่ค่ะทาง ICT แล้วก็ประยุกต์ใช้อย่างไรให้ global ค่ะ
เขาก็คือมีการใช้ ICT คือคุณศรีนุชเนี่ยแกตกงานเมื่อตอนต้มยำกุ้งแล้วก็กลับไปอยู่บ้านเพราะว่าในกรุงเทพไม่มีงานทำแล้วก็ไปที่ข้างบ้านมีตลาดนัดก็เห็นคนเอาปลากัดมาขายตัวละ5 บาทแล้วเขาก็มีความรู้สึกว่ามันน่าจะต่อยอดได้เขาก็เลยเริ่มเซิร์ชข้อมูลจากอินเทอร์เน็ตอะไรต่างๆนะคะจนกระทั่งทำปลากัดส่งออกแล้วก็ถ่ายทอดความรู้ให้กับคนอื่นพอคนอื่นเลี้ยงปลากัดส่งออกเยอะมากขึ้นปุ๊บแกก็หนีอีกแกก็เซิร์ชอีกว่าปลากัดที่สีซีดปลากัดที่ป่วยปลากัดที่ผอมทำยังไงแกก็ปรุงเป็นอาหารโดยการเซิร์ชการอะไรต่างๆแล้วลูกก็มาร่วมงาน Girls ICT Day ทุกปีนะคะลูกก็มาตีขิมเล่นขิมอะไรต่างๆเนี่ยนะคะ ก็มาแสดงมาช่วยแม่ดิสเพลย์ปลากัดลูกก็เลยได้โปรไฟล์ของ UN ไปก็เลยได้ทุนโรงเรียนอะไรนะปามจันปาม
เตรียมพัฒนาค่ะ
ค่ะก็คือมีโปรไฟล์ UN นะก็เลยได้โอกาสเข้าโรงเรียนเตรียมเพราะว่าเป็นเด็กที่ได้โอกาสในการ go inter จาก local to global นะคะอันนี้ก็คือเป็น session leadership จากนั้นก็จะเป็นแต่ละ track ของการเทรนใช่ไหมจันปามค่ะ
แต่ละแทร็กก็จะมี3 แทร็กค่ะจะมี AI Cyber Security Smart Farming ค่ะ
ดูตัวอย่างสักวันหนึ่งจันปามสักวันก็คือว่าเราลองเข้าไปดูไม่มีข้อจำกัดนะเข้าไปตรงไหนก็ได้แต่ว่าถ้าเราอยากจะเอาใบประกาศเนี่ยเราต้องเข้าให้ครบแต่ถ้าเกิดไม่ตัวอย่างเอาตัวอย่างสักอันค่ะ AI ไหมคะ
เป็น AI นะคะ AI จะเป็นหลักสูตรออนไลน์ของ UNESCO ค่ะ
เข้าไปดู
นะจะเข้าไปอยู่ในในเว็บเพจของ Girl ICT อะค่ะแล้วเขาจะมีคอร์ริคูลัมค่ะมีเทรนนิ่งเป็นคอร์สแล้วก็สามารถเข้าเรียนออนไลน์ในหลักสูตรของเขาได้อันนี้จะเป็นค่ะ
ถ้าเราจะเอาใบประกาศนะคะเป็นใบประกาศที่อันนี้ Cyber Security นี่ของ Cisco เป็นคนทำเนาะถ้าเกิด AI นี่เป็นของ UNESCO ถ้าเราอยากได้ใบประกาศของ UNESCO เราก็ไปที่คอร์ส AI เราอยากได้ประกาศของ Smart Farm เราของ FAO เราก็ไป Smart Farm อย่างเงี้ยนะคะ
ใช่ค่ะ
จันปามลงไปที่หน้าเว็บของ Learning Platform คือพวกเราสนใจก็เข้าไปดูนะคะเป็น2 ภาษานะคะบางหลักสูตรก็จะเป็น2 ภาษาบางหลักสูตรเป็นภาษาไทยเพราะว่าเด็กๆที่มาเข้าส่วนใหญ่จะเป็นเด็กจากต่างจังหวัดทั้งนั้นเลยจากน่านจาก3 จังหวัดชายแดนจากอะไรเงี้ยเราให้เข้ามาอันนี้เป็นอะไรคะเป็นเว็บหรือเปล่า
ใช่ค่ะเป็นหน้าเว็บไซต์ของงาน Girl ICT ค่ะ
ไหลลงมาหน่อยสิมีหลักสูตรอะไรบ้าง Scroll down มี Popular Course 4 อันนะคะก็ลองคลิกเข้าไปนะคะแล้วถ้าเกิดปีนี้เพิ่งเริ่มสร้างอันนี้ขึ้นมาเดี๋ยวเด็กๆเขาก็จะมาเริ่มใส่ภาพใส่อะไรจันปามไปที่เฟซดูภาพอดีตเมื่อปีที่แล้วได้ไหมคะเพราะนั้นพวกเราก็คือใครสนใจจะเข้าถ้าอยากได้ใบประกาศก็เข้าให้ครบนะคะถ้าไม่อยากได้แค่ just มาดูไปที่ picture ปีที่แล้วนี่จัดที่ FAO นะคะหน้าที่ของหลักสูตรเราแล้วก็ศูนย์วิจัยที่พวกเราทำงานกันอยู่เนี่ยก็คือพาเด็ก local สู่ global นะคะจัดที่เวที FAO UNESCO APT อะไรเงี้ยแล้วก็ไปจัดที่ UN เด็กๆบอกไม่รู้จัก UN ก็ได้ไปเหยียบ UN ไปกินข้าวที่ UN เงี้ยนะคะเขาก็แฮปปี้กันโดยภาพรวมนะคะก็พวกเราก็จะได้เห็นชาวเขาชาวดอยได้มาเรียนแล้วก็ได้ใบประกาศไปถ้าเกิดเขามีความเป็นช้างเผือกเขาก็จะได้ถูกพิกอัพขึ้นมาเพื่อเป็นสปีกเกอร์เป็นตัวแทนต่อไปอาจารย์ปามีอะไรอีกไหมคะถ้างั้นก็จะส่งลิงก์ให้นะคะพวกเราสนใจก็เข้าไปเรียนค่ะโอเคอันนี้ก็เป็นภาพรวมนะคะ The house we use ICT and communication to convey as a tool to empowering all the girls and women นะคะ so in conclusion I would like to confirm that with the power of communication and ICT we can tackle any kind of issue so just be confident in what you are studying and then try to learn from the others and then be the master in that that's why we call it master degree in communication and ASEAN be smart be master in communication be master in ASEAN that's the ultimate goal and then beside from that you also will get the network from all the speaker because all the speaker is all the partners or the friends they come for free and then we also work for free because like this event our program and our research center we work for free we just connect the dot of the little girl from the from all over the country to access to the UN. So once they see the Falang, they will not afraid of that. They can go and talk to Falang. That's kind of, and then they can be the not beside of the digital citizen, they also be the global citizen. So with your little girls, you can let them have a look and see, right, Connie? Okay, so tonight, see you. Allow, take a rest. Nah? Hope you enjoy. Yeah, bye bye. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye. สวัสดีค่ะ
Thank you and good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye bye. Take care. Okay.